After lying awake the whole night thinking how I can build bigger watering structures, I came to check out the dam a little bit. So this is about, I would say the river has dropped with a good meter, all infiltrated. It just goes straight down into the soil. As you pushes back for about 100 meters at least, pushes back the sand, past the sand dam, past the food forest. And one of the things I'm truly grateful for is our spillway. Never eroded that much for the amount of water, thousands and thousands of liters of water. It just made a little dent here, over here, and so this isn't that bad. And it only took a bit of water out from the top, but the rest of the water is going down into the swell over there. Okay, so the bottom dam pushes up to here. There's water all the way here, and then this little structure does keep a bit of water, although it's severely damaged. I'm gonna try and walk on this, try not to fall, but then this pushes the water back to the beginning of the property, which is about another 100 meters. Let me just see if I can get a long shot here. Goes around there. So it's hours later now, since the last video was taken yesterday of the water exiting, and I thought this sand dam, quote unquote, was gonna wash away completely, but it actually silted closed and pushed by up. I'm gonna see if I cannot get a better picture of this river. This wet stuff on the side of this river is extremely slippery. So I'm going to walk through the bushes on the side and show you what we have here. Now I pushed up, as you can see, all the way over here. I see these tires didn't move. Those tires that was there to stop the horses moved a little bit. But this is, I would say, a sight unseen in Namibia. You don't see water standing like this. So this is, to me, this is incredible. So on top of that one there at the bottom that pulls water back all the way to the sand dam, this one pulls water, pushes water back now currently for about 70 meters, or maybe a little bit less, let's say 50 meters. Now, yeah, 50 meters I think would be fair. Check how those tires have moved. Not as much as I thought they would, but all the sticks and debris that came down, that stick that we placed there to prevent erosion, or brush that we placed there to, still there. Okay, it's a sand dam there. It's water pushed up about 50 meters behind it. So I was just there on that side. Now when you move past here, this is now where the bottom system pushes up water. Now this is, I would say, about 70 meters up here, deep enough for the kids to play in, pushes all the way back to where the dam is. I'm gonna walk around and show you a video quickly from the other side, maybe show you where it pushed up to. This is basically a turn where the kids played just there, just behind where the dog is running there, and it's going down into the river. You know, the river has got lots of little bushes, so I can't walk in there. But if you see here how far it pushed up close to food forest as well, the Damien's food forest. Okay. So this is the spillway of the river that I showed you this morning. The water has gone down a little bit as well. If you take into account that none of this water is running out, in other words, this is just sinking straight into the sand. It might stay on our land, it might also go underground to somebody else's property. But I always thought that whatever I do, I want it to be a blessing for somebody else. I want to see if I cannot get a level thing here, a little bit. It's difficult to see on the camera, but this goes back there. This is now 5 times zoomed in. This goes back a amount of water is held up here. Even with that, check the the breeze that washed in here. The water came in here with a speed, incredible speed. Yeah, this is wonderful. I cannot describe in words the feeling that I have seeing all of this water here. Okay, let me go show you that swell up there quickly. Okay, so Moremi and I did some emergency repairs here last night. As I said in yesterday's video about a week ago, I realized that our levels are off here, and we did do some things to fix it, but we focused mostly on the main swell. And so yesterday we lifted that bank up while it was raining a little bit. We lifted that bank up, and now you can see how far the water pushed up all the way to there. Then it pushed over here, and it's always good to double check your levels. But I'm not gonna change the swale. I like where the swale is, so I'm gonna change the landscape. It's not going to be that difficult. It's gonna be a day of three's work, and then we have this water pushing up here quite high, all the way next to the fence of Damon's forest, the friendly forest. And the reason why I want this swale here is because that will have me be able to put a living fence over there. So we made these things right when we started, as cheap as we could. We didn't have money, so it's just a normal pole that we cut from the invasive bush here with 3 little wires on it. And later on we placed invasive thorn bushes all around it, keep the sheep out. I'll show you something very interesting about the invasive bushes now. But yeah, so we can plant all the way next to the Damon's forest. We'll be able to plant a living fence and then be able to plant some trees around it. Okay, let me show you those African smiles quickly, what they've been doing. Okay, so now I'm on the other side of the fence. This is the swell that I was just at. Hope you can see that. And this is where the river pushed up into this thing that I want to make a dam or a one-way valve, or I don't know yet. But I want to be able to capture water in this little ditch here. It used to be a wash. It's no longer a wash because it's got no entrance anymore. All that water that used to go into the wash is now going into that swale, running in here and then falling over into the zai pits. Now we can make this deeper, plant trees all along that edge, and then that's the fence behind there with that swale. Plant trees all around that edge, plant trees on that edge along with these ones here. Then we really have the friendly forest going. Okay, so what happened with these things, they filled up. As you can see, everything dried out around them, but you can see how high the moisture level is still around them. All of that sunk into the soil, and still wet all around them. Check here. So everything is dry. The sun's been baking the whole day. Everything dried out except in the zai pits. All of that is still wet. Now last year I planted in these things and all my trees drowned. So this year I made the zai pits deeper, added mulch, and then planted trees on the outside of them. And so you learn that sometimes you have to listen to Jeff Lawton instead of listening to yourself. A swale, planting inside of a swale is not the best of an idea, and this is just basically micro swales. So planting inside of a swale is not an idea. Planting on top of a swale or behind a swale, like in front of a swale here where the water doesn't stand, or right here behind the swale. So that's our little micro swale there, planting here behind the swale. That is a good idea. Alright, so you learn, you have to listen to people. This is a little dam, water just went into the ground. I'm very happy with that. Gave us a line on where we can plant trees. Took some pictures yesterday. I know where I can plant trees around this thing. I now know that with a little bit of water. And that swell didn't run off because of the huge rain event very far away. That thing ran over with just a little bit of rain close by. So this dam filled up with just a little bit of water that fell close by. The river came down with a rain event that I still don't know exactly where it was, but it must have been big. And yeah, it made my life makes my life happy. This is our living edge. This backbone, it held up quite well against the erosion. There's a lot of debris caught on that side, but still with all of that debris caught, it gets washed away. Now I want to show you something here. So we placed these trees or branches or invasive trees on our edge with the idea of creating a living fence one day. And you can see here there is thorn trees coming up, invasive species, but now they are growing where we designed them. They are growing where we want them. See here, that's thorns. These things won't let anybody in. I want to see if I can show you this little thorn here. It really pest if they're in the wrong space. Okay, these eye pits filled up incredibly well. All did exactly what they were supposed to do, ran over exactly the way they were supposed to. This year as well, learned to plant on the banks and not plant inside of them. Last year I lost a lot of trees that I planted inside of them, which was a bad idea. Okay, so moringa, leucaena doing very well. So today not a lot happened. My father-in-law came back from the south to come collect my mother-in-law. They are moving to the south. He's got a job there, and so hopefully in the next couple of weeks we'll be moving to the farm. This has been planned now for about 3-4 months, maybe longer, that we wanted to move here, but it seems like it's finally happening, which is fantastic. I'll wake up here and go to sleep here, and that changes everything. Gus had to go see his family. He was always going to be off. Simon worked yesterday from 8 till 4, and he said he wanted to come in today, but I think what happened yesterday is there's a lot of houses that took damage, so I couldn't get hold of Simon yesterday. I think what happened is he probably went and repaired his house that was, I'm very sure, damaged in the township, because it seems as if there's bigger storms there. It's only about 7 kilometers away from us, but I also think because there's no vegetation at all, just barren land, and whenever rain comes it just floods everything and houses wash away and so on. So that was the walkthrough of the day after the storm. I really hope you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to see what this place is going to look like, and I hope you have a wonderful day.